In a fast-paced world, filled with lots of noise and distractions, how often do you intentionally take a break to have intimate personal conversations and reevaluate your life trajectory? In this episode, we discuss the process of developing reflective thinking, self-awareness, and growing your support system.
Hi, I am Father Abraham, and spreading light is my legacy. Welcome to Re-Spectrum. Together, we gain clarity and the resolve to live with purpose. Blessings. We're going to be having a great time today. Welcome to the show.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Respectrum. My name is Abraham Ologundudu. Thank you for allowing me into your space. I'm humbled by this very moment. In the last episode, I brought my friend Jennifer, the founder of Positive Vibes, and from our sort of heart-to-heart discussion about self-confidence and how to build from a healthy place. This idea of in-depth personal reflection came into the picture, right? And that inspired the discussion for this episode, this session we'll be having right now, as I would really like to break down what it means to have self-reflections. Therefore, I reached out to my friend Adebola Zoe Williams. She's the chief hype person that I gave a shout out to in my first episode. I do really appreciate how she supports my work and shows up when she can. And she's a creative writer and a super fun human. So we use our personal experiences to walk you through the reiterative process of developing effective internal reflections, having that systems that you have created to guard your heart and to guide yourself through the affairs of the world or the affairs of your life. A quick heads up, again, it was a Zoom call, right? So you would have to forgive the technicalities thanks to COVID-19. Anyway, please enjoy our conversation. Ciao, 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 ciao.
Today I'm having Adebola Williams, aka Zoe, on the show. Let us welcome the almighty content creator, beast mode, over creative, chief young hyper of Abraham.
Oh shit. That's the right way. Drum rolls, please.
Yeah, Adebola Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So, thank you once again for coming. I will allow you to introduce yourself by yourself, like I like saying. What's up? Who are you? What do you do? Who are you?
So I've started using Adebola Zoe Williams to differentiate myself from other Adebola Williamses. We are many out there. So
when you say Williams, is like, how many have you found?
Mine was the popular guy. On my Instagram, I follow about 3 other people that are also Adebola Williams. Mine was Adebola Lagos. But the 3 people are all women, so we are kind of many out there. I'm Adebola Zoe Williams. Young, vibrant, full of energy, very restless sometimes. I'm a creative bubble. I don't want to define myself by what I do. I want to define myself by who I think I am and who I think I want to be. Yeah, so I'm always looking for a way to be better, I was thinking this morning that my word for the year was better when I was planning last year, because I discovered that Ariana Huffington, Melinda Gates, and some of those women that I read some of their works, they don't do resolutions and goals, as it were. They do systems and word for the year. So I decided that, okay, you know what? I'm going to do the word for the year, and then I'm going to plan around it as well. So I decided that my word for 2020 was going to be better. So I was going to be a better person. I was going to be better at the things that I did. I was going to be a better friend, a better daughter to my parents, a better lover to my partner, a better content creative, a better writer. Everything that I was doing, I was just going to be better at it. And then my attitude too was going to be better. Yeah, so I'm always evolving to be better. So I think that's like the perfect way to describe myself.
What not dear. But yeah, I agree with you. You've actually touched on something that we'll be looking at later today about understanding ourselves and knowing how to really hack our lives. I mean, it's about hack our lives for maximum productivity. And one of the things we looked at last episode with my friend Jennifer was basically about self-confidence from the point of view, like, we know that we're young, we're vibrant, like you said, and a number of us are like in my community, my friends, like my circle, like you, are like people who are like at a very young age doing amazing things. We have to like juggle. Most of us, except you're like from Pluto or something, most of us have to juggle at one point in our lives, putting up a confident look in the public, or that's I know my life is figured out kind of appearance, but I have to struggle with a different person in our private life. Yeah, that struggle of, am I who I really say I am? Am I an imposter? So we have to like look into confidence from what people don't really talk about, which is one, how to regain your confidence when you kind of get into a very low point in your life, or basically how to really re-engineer your mindset to build confidence from a very different point of view. That's from the point where we are not basically trying to acquire things to build confidence. We are trying to build your life from inward out there. So your life is more like an expression than trying to acquire things from the public, which doesn't fulfill or doesn't get you satisfied. Guys, if you want to listen to this thing, go and listen to the episode 2. I said a lot of very, very personal things about myself, and even Jennifer, that really open your eyes to see what it really means to struggle with confidence and how to really re-engineer your life for maximum productivity. But something came up last episode when we were talking about confidence, and Jennifer said something about how the power of reflections can help you find out why you do what you do. Or when you're at that point when you are really anxious or you're feeling really not good enough, she said reflections can help you find out, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Being able to ask the right questions. Yeah, why are you feeling this way? Is there more to this than what I think? She said it's a very powerful tool to helping you to figure out what it is wrong with you. And from there, she said, it's been nice for you to talk about how to reflect, because it's not that simple. It's not just, it's simple, but it wasn't that straightforward. It's not like
a lot of vulnerability. The questions you don't want to ask yourself, the conversations you rather not have. It takes a lot of courage to ask yourself those questions. When you're reflecting about your life, you want to ask questions that have led you to where you are right now. And we all know that as human beings, we make mistakes. So a lot of times when you're reflecting, some of the most prominent thoughts that will be coming up in your head are the mistakes and missteps that you took. Because you're sitting down and you're looking back at what has happened, what has led me to this point. And you see the mess you made. And nobody likes to feel that way. But once you can get past the feeling of, how did I do this? It's like the same way some people will look back at their past relationships and say, how was I even friends with this guy? Or how did I even get him?
Like you ask yourself, like, wait, what was I thinking? How did I get into that? How did I get into that relationship?
What happened? Why did I make this choice? So very, very hard. And it's harder because you're not hearing it from somebody else. There's something people usually say, that you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. If you're being sincere with yourself, when you think about the things that have led you to a point in your life where you are, you start to see the mistakes that you made, and those mistakes, they hurt because you did it out of the goodness of your heart. You had good intentions. You wanted to make something of your life. You wanted to make the right choice. You had all the information, or you thought you had all the information, to make the right choice or to make the right decision, but you still messed up. So seeing yourself in the light of, I'm not that all, I don't have everything together. I make mistakes. I even make awful mistakes. Seeing that, it can make you feel less of who you think you are, especially if you're someone that have a high what's that word? High self-esteem. You have a very, very solid knowledge of who you think you want to be. And most of the people that have an idea of this is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is who I'm becoming. We don't really act from who we are now. We act for where we are going. So when you now sit down and reflect and you're seeing the mistakes that you have made, you just feel like, chai, I'm not there. Somebody that is on the way to that place wouldn't take this wrong turn. But that's just beginning. Once you're able to get past, these are the things that I did wrong. These are the things that I shouldn't have done or should have done, should have said, shouldn't have said. And you're able to move past that stage to the other stages. It's that stage that is the difficult stage, the stage where you have to decide, where you have to say, I messed up, or I didn't have enough information, or I didn't get enough help, or I didn't do something. It's something that you caused, something that is not the universe or some unforeseen circumstances. You can see your hand on that thing that, hey, this is Adebola. Adebola is this, I'm thinking about that. I'm remembering a time when I was in school and when I was in UI, in 200 level, I stayed with a couple of friends from my department. So we were 4, 2 girls and 2 guys. So we decided to get an apartment together. I mean, it was fun. It was rebellious. That's not what the usual Christian girl does. But I just thought, it would be fun. Let me just live with other people and see how it is, and we stayed there and we actually really connected. It was a good life. But I made some choices there that, looking back when I was in 400 level, I have not even now, looking at 400 level, I was like, why are these people not my friends anymore? How can I live with people for a whole year? I mean, practically do everything with them. School, life, they've carried me in my darkest moments. They've shown light in my darkest moments. I've been there for them at their lowest. How could I have had that with people? And today, just few years down the line, and then we are still in the same space. So it's not like when I've gone abroad and we are still in the same department, but we don't even act like we know each other. How did I get here?
Really?
Yes. That was when I started realizing that, so there's something about the way I handle my relationships. And if I want stable relationships, if I want relationships that are formed on, that will stay with me for as long as I live, I need to change some certain things. And, I reached out to some of them and I was like, I messed up. I'm sorry. It's not like they didn't have their fault, but I was big enough to realize that something was wrong with me. And I sat down and I tore myself up, like, to the barest minimum. I tried my best to figure out what was wrong, and I reached out to them. I was like, I made a mistake. I messed up. Can you guys just forgive me? I'm not saying we should be best of friends, but I don't want to see you and turn the other way. I don't want to see you and feel a sting in my heart. Like I hurt you or I do something. I want to forgive myself. And if you guys don't forgive me, I don't think I will be able to forgive myself. And that helped me transition from that phase of my life. And in my current relationships, as I was growing, I was being cognizant that when this factor raises its head, I have to do something about it. So that's one of the things that's one of the hardest things to do when you're reflecting, accepting that you might just be the bad guy. Yeah.
If you're going to simplify this to someone, want someone to really get in 1 or 2 or 3 sentences based on your experiences, how would you explain reflective thinking to someone in, let's say, an ABC step?
Okay, so I don't know if you remember that I worked in a crèche.
You did?
Yes, I worked in a crèche. And one of the ways that we taught babies how to identify words was by showing them the words, not the spelling of the words, the word. You want to teach a child ball. You don't say ball. You show a child the ball.
You show a boy a ball, okay.
The first time the baby is going to say ball, trust me, 100% of the time is seeing a round object that people are throwing around, and then you'll be able to identify it. That is the word. That is the word my teacher keeps saying in school. That is the picture they keep showing me. So that's how I simplify things to myself, because I'm not smart. So if I want to explain reflective thinking to a baby, I would show a baby a mirror. And for a baby to identify himself or herself in a mirror, there has to be 8 months upward. So if you put a 6-month-old baby in front of a mirror, he can't identify that this is me looking at me. It's just seeing something. He's not seeing his reflection. So that's the first step. You have to be able to know who you are, before you can reflect. And a lot of times, who we think we are is a confluence of our past experiences, our journey so far to the point where you're reflecting, the dreams in your heart and your ambitions. To an extent, that's a little bit, that's not really balanced. So I would say that a child, if I'm going to explain to a child, the first step I would say is that you need to know who you are. So asking yourself the who you are question. You don't have to have a perfectly summarized bio, of who you are. Of course, there are some things that you might want to do that you need all of that. But when you're reflecting, you need to be as true, as genuine, and as open with yourself. So the first thing I would say is know who you are. Then when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can see different things. But the first thing you will see is what you are doing right now. So if you stand in front of the mirror, if you're staring into your eyes, all you're going to see is your eyes. If you raise up your hand, you see that in the mirror, your reflection too, your hand is going up. You're doing what is in the mirror. The mirror is reflecting what you're doing. So once you're done identifying who you are, you need to check what you're doing. What am I seeing right now? Who is this person in front of this mirror? Don't look at the future yet. Just look at where you are right now. This is me right here in this moment, in this very minute. This is who I am. This is what is happening in my life. This is how I feel. This is how situations are. This is a terrible, is a messy. Have those very honest observations of yourself. When you also look in the mirror, you want to see who you can be. So, for example, it happens to a lot of girls. I mean, there's sometimes that I'm just in front of my mirror, especially this lockdown that I'm not even going anywhere. You're not even trying to even look fine for anybody. I'm just sleeping and eating and reading. Sometimes I stand in front of my mirror and I imagine myself all dressed up, all glamoured, like glamour, full-time glamour on a red carpet. I can imagine whatever it is I want in front of a mirror, but that's not my current reality. My current reality is I'm wearing sweaty pants and some hoodie. But in the mirror, I'm seeing a reflection of me dressed up, me going out, me hanging with some people, me happy. So it's a cycle of who am I, and then what is happening with me in this very moment, and then finally, who do I want to be? What am I longing for? How do I want to get out of this mess? Where's the escape? So in that point you use your imagination. That's where your dreams come to mind, and then you start to think about what you want to do. But those three things are very important to reflect. So it's even simple. People usually try to overthink things. And I'm an advocate for simplicity. If you can, stand in front of a mirror. Once you stand in front of the mirror and you're open, you're honest with yourself, I just want to have a 5-minute conversation with myself in this mirror. The conversations you have in front of the mirror is different from the conversations you have in your head. Because in the mirror, you're talking to yourself. I'm in the bathroom and I'm like, Adebola, what you did that day, make sense. I'm hearing it with my head that I'm telling myself that I shouldn't have acted that way, or I shouldn't have gone that route. And then I'm talking, the mirror is talking back, I'm talking, the mirror is talking back. We're having a conversation. Just stand in front of the mirror for 5 minutes and just have a conversation about your current state of life and say, am I happy right here, right now? I'm not. Okay, what can I do? What do I have that I can do in this very moment to take me out of this feeling that I'm feeling? Or is this feeling even good? Maybe I should embrace it. So mirrors are the perfect explanation to explain reflecting within yourself.
That's powerful. You touched on many things that will lead us to something else. So one thing you said that is really profound, something about how when you look at the mirror, even though you can see your entire body, you get to see clearly what you focus on. Like if you raise up your hand and look closer at your hand, you are aware that the other part of your bodies are visible in the mirror, but because of you decide to focus on one aspect of your body, that part of your body now becomes much more obvious. And what I see there is that the way your mind works is that you can narrow in on one thing and zoom out of it and narrow in another thing and begin to gain perspective on your life based on maybe how you've compartmentalized your own life or how you've structured your own life. You can zoom in into those minor details and zoom out, even though holistically you can see a clear picture of who you are in the mirror or during your reflection. But it also gives you the opportunity to move closer into more details, which I think is really cool. When you were speaking about how you could see yourself, then I remember your imaginations. I kind of imagine myself in front of a mirror, and I realized that one of the powerful things about a mirror is you don't just see yourself. You also get an advantage to see what's behind you.
Yeah.
It gives you much more vantage. But that fits into what you talked about. You're able to go into your previous experiences or the events of your life and able to recapture the things that you've done and kind of draw out important lessons from it. So this is a very powerful metaphor to show you, or those who are listening, how powerful reflective thinking is that you don't just see yourself, but you also see the world around you.
Yeah.
Everything that factors into who you are. And you can basically see like an intersection and interconnectivity between your interaction with the world around you. When I mean world, now your friends, your family, your relationship, everything that the world means to you, you can see it connecting to who you are in that frame of reference. And that is one of the most powerful things about reflective thinking. You don't see yourself in isolation, you see yourself in connection with the world around you. Whoever can grow into this level of thinking, I think like you've unlocked a superpower for me. People talk about being independent, but independence in a way is a sham, in the sense that nobody is truly independent. Like independence is in a particular context and in a particular cluster of explanation, but truly nobody is independent because we're interdependent. A lot of things make up who we are. A lot of things are influencing what we do. A lot of things are contributing to who we become. So it's really powerful. So on that level, I want us to like dig down into the how. Like, how do you develop a reflective thinking habit, or how do you develop that lifestyle of being reflective? And the first thing that came to mind, what you said, is self-awareness. Like you talked about being aware of. I'm going to allow you to talk about self-awareness, and I'll also like talk about what I think people sometimes misunderstand self-awareness to be. I would like you to like build on what you said earlier about how looking into the mirror makes you aware of yourself. You can see who you are. You said you can see who you are, you can see what you're doing, and you can see who you're becoming. And that's where your imaginations come into play. So how do you bring in self-awareness into this, your illustration?
So I listened to your episode 2 with Jennifer.
Yeah.
And there was something she said. I'm trying to really paraphrase her now. She was saying something about who we are is a factor of who we were, who we are in this very moment, and who we want to become. And that how realizing that is a continuous journey. It's not something that stops. You don't wake up one morning after so much self-reflection and after so much accumulating of information and wisdom and say, this is who I am, it can never be. Yes, she was talking about we evolve as a people, we evolve, human beings, we evolve. And that's how I see self-awareness. Let me use a very personable example. I've always been a very chatter person, like a chatterbox. I've always been a chatterbox. Since when I was a child, I've been a life of the party. Adults will be in the room and I will take all the attention. You know, I could do a lot of things. I would talk to anybody. A new teacher will come into the class. I will go and meet her during break and ask her a question about life. Where did she come from? Does she have a family? I've always been that kind of person. But the universe is not always, people are not always nice to people that are quite expressive in that way. So as I decided to grow up, people started to make me feel like, you're too much. You're just too much. I can't just deal. This is too much. You know, can you just sit down? you know, parents, sisters, siblings, family members, then friends, then people that you go to school with, people you go to church with, and then you just become the person they want to use when they are looking for someone to be expressive. But when they don't need you, they expect you to be calm, quiet, and collected, which is not who you are. You know, and so I started to struggle with a lot of issues. I didn't know who I was because I was acting out of who I think I was. It just comes to me naturally. I wasn't trying to sit down and say, this is who I am. It's just how I felt inside. Express yourself. Like a button was always pushing, like alarm. Once I see somebody like this, an alarm just go, make a conversation, talk to them, say hello, smile, something. It just beeps in my head. And that's who I was, or who I thought I was. But when life was happening and people would come and just try to tone me down, some of my friends were even getting embarrassed, like, don't need to take the bullet to that place, you're just going to And then I thought I was maturing by being quiet and staying on my own and acting composed and all of those cool stuff that cool kids do. I thought I was maturing until I realized that I was very sad in my maturity. And that was the day that I knew that anything that makes you start thinking that you're losing something that is important to your life is immaturity. So once you're growing and you're losing some things, some excesses, you know that you are thinning out. You are letting go of all the weight that might be set to you later. So you know you are seeing the future ahead that, I have to reduce that, or I have to let that go because this is where I'm going. But anything that is, you think you're maturing, but you know that you need later in future, or you will need for something, you're not maturing, you're just being something, and I was sad. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. You know, I didn't even know who to talk to, because people were just thinking that when you are growing up, you're not a child anymore. But that's my personality. That's how I always feel on my inside, like a child. You know, but the maturity that my mind has gone through is what helps me to put all of that innocence and all of that childhood abilities into one mature package. But on my inside, I'm just a child. I just want to talk to people. I just want to talk about stuff and really help anyone, make somebody smile. It was difficult to accept that was who I was. But I finally accepted it without anybody's help. I accepted it because I saw people being themselves unapologetically. People that were quiet. You try to talk to them, they talk to you, and then they just go back into their shell. You know that they're telling you that talking really isn't my thing, and it's okay, you know. So I'm going to be on my own. I actually enjoy my company. So I'll talk to you, you know, but I really need my space. I saw people around me living, even the people that were beating me down, they were living their life, their truth. They were who they said they were. They were not trying to change for anyone, you know. And that's when I started to grow my self-esteem back little by little. That's the essential thing for me about self-awareness. You have to know that people are different, people aren't the same. Even when I have somebody I'm looking up to, you know, or a mentor or somebody that sees me as a protege, I still always tell myself that this person isn't me. Me, Adebola Williams, I am in some of a lot of other things, but I want to be like this person in some certain ways. I want to learn from this person. I want to, you know, ride on this person's shoulders. But I don't want to become this person. So I don't have to start changing the way I talk, the way I dress, the way I do whatever, because I want to be like that person. There are a lot of ways you can be like people without copycatting them. That really helped me. I just started to say, you know what, let me be who I am. So it is in being who I thought I was that I started to know that, okay, so there's so much more than just being a chatterbox. So I started seeing that I might like talking, but I have conversations that matter. You know, so I actually wrote it down, like, that is who I am. I like talking, but I have conversations that matter. They matter to people's mental health, people's emotional being, people's awareness of who they are, of the world. I interact with people positively. So it might be a lot to some people, but for me, I'm just chilled, like, oh, this is my mode. I tone it down when I'm like, okay, where is this setting where I think everybody's kind of cool here? But you still see it, you still see the difference. You still see the difference that this person is, she's really trying to conform to this environment. This is not our usual space. But one common thing that everybody needs to know about themselves is self-awareness. It stems from a place of love. When I realized this thing, I almost wanted to cry, because I realized that a lot of people, we don't love ourselves. We love other people. I mean, you don't even think about yourself. Like, there's no more touch to put into myself. I'm just there. We love the idea of other people. We love other people's story, other people's journey. Especially in the days of social media, where everybody's a storyteller, where everybody's
personal branding.
Everybody's in personal branding, telling stories, motivating, aspiring to perspiring.
Fire.
Especially in this world, it's so easy to never give yourself 1 hour of thoughts, and all you're just sold out to other people's lives, you know, and you're just that it really motivates me. It's really living the life. It's really inspirational. You're not even giving yourself any thought. So you have to love yourself. It's not always easy loving yourself, especially if you have done a lot of wrongs in life than good. But you have to love yourself, because out of love comes the realization of who you can become, and it comes with forgiveness as well, to let go of how you have hurt others, what you have done to hurt yourself, and how others can just forgive you and help you move past where you are. So self-awareness is a continuous journey. If you can't love yourself, you can't know who you really are. You start to fit into what society says you should be. You start to fit into what popular culture says you should be. You start to fit into current trends. Whatever is sweeping the nation and making the people move up and down, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be shifting. We can't say this is who you are. We will just say, what time is it? Is it sunny? Yeah, she's probably this. Oh, is it raining? We can't say that this is who you are, because you just change with the tides. So love yourself to know yourself. Really.
Love yourself to know yourself.
But don't let me laugh. My laughter is not cute.
So for you guys, I don't know what Oro means. Oro is like word, deep, that kind of thing. Free translation. So Zoe said something remarkable about self-awareness, what she said, it might sound counterintuitive, but calm down, just listen first. So said that self-awareness, like you can develop an awareness about who you are with respect to when you see other people. So like seeing other people's uniqueness can actually give you a wake-up call that, okay, these people are okay in their own space. This person likes being quiet. That's who the person is. Me, I like being in a chat box or something. Like there seems to be a uniqueness between this person from who I am, meaning that I'm unique, I'm distinct. We might be looking alike, but there's something different about us. And it can make you want to like probe further, okay, why is it different? Why am I different? And that curiosity can help you really go inward and really ask questions about who you are and really find out why are you excited about what you're excited about and why is that person excited about it? Something different. Have you ever had an experience where you watched a movie and like, this movie is mad though, my friends will like it, and you now tell your friends to watch the movie and you are there with them and they're never excited, they're never showing any.
I'm telling you, they're like
this movie, or it's even music. Let's take it down to music. Like you like a music and you play for your friends and your friends are like, okay, what? And so okay, what next?
What
like
happened?
So you get, because we are uniquely drawn to different things, and so you want to take it personal that, guy, this thing makes sense now. So when I learned this thing a long time ago, I'm like, so people know you're passionate about your passion. They don't hate you. Like it's just who they are. So
yeah,
if you ever carry it on your head, you just hope transformer and die. That's something very remarkable that it might sound like, okay, you're trying to look at other people to learn about yourself, but no, you're trying to see how distinct you are based on how other people are different, and it can make you curious about discovering what is more to you than what they see. It's just like the story of the lion that was living with the sheep for a long time. And one day the lion was attacking the heads or the other flocks of sheep, and all the old sheep will run away. But this lion will be like, but that person looks like me now. Why I don't feel like I should run away because it looks like me. This person looks like me. But the point was, because of the lion saw something else with respect to who he is or who she is, depending on the gender, was able to discover who he really was, or who maybe to discover the true nature of itself, and that's really very powerful. So this is where the thin line comes in from when you look at other people, is that place of self-love will make you not to romanticize people's life more than yours. You will make it like the grass is greener on the other side, because in the end, if anybody's grass is green, because they watered it. So you will not over-romanticize someone's life because you come from a place of personal self-love or the place of knowing that, okay, I'm loved. In my opinion, the best way to have a very healthy self-love mindset is knowing Jesus. Like, every down might be scarred, but for me, that's the best way to have an infallible idea of what love means that will not be attached to your performance. Yeah, I remember something about self-awareness. Sorry. So I saw this quote about self-awareness theory. I just want to rub it with you. And it was this theorist in 1972. They said self-awareness is based on the idea that you are not your thoughts, but you are the entity observing your thoughts. You are a thinker, separate and apart from your thoughts. And when I saw this, I'm like, this is heresy. Like, but the Bible says that as a man thinks, so easy, or from the abundance of the heart, the man speaks. But when I look at it deeper, I'm like, it is so true. People say, one, you are your thought in the context of the fact that, okay, your dominant thoughts will influence your actions, right? That's the context. But in the grand scheme of things, we're not really our thoughts, in the sense that we're like the only beings that can think about how we think. Have you ever been thinking, and in your thinking, you're not thinking while you're thinking the thinking?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it makes sense to you. Like, there's an upper level of intelligence that we have, that if we are thinking about something, we are aware of how we are thinking about that thing, which actually shows the fact that we are not, our thoughts is like you said, this present continuous, it's fluid, and you cannot define what we self-awareness based on what you are thinking, but you can use that thought pattern to raise questions, dig deeper, and really question whether where the thoughts are coming from, and if the thoughts is valuable to you. You can use that process of thinking to really not to define, but to take you on a journey to finding out where exactly you are. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, so when people talk about self-awareness, it's not like be aware of what you're thinking. No, it's beyond be aware of what you're thinking. It's like, take that awareness of what you're thinking and take you on a journey. Like, go on a journey with it. Probe, question, test, and you will make some mistake. Definitely, that is science experiment. But you don't just take your thought and say, because I think that I'm not good enough, I'm aware I'm not good enough. No, That is just if someone will say, because I think that I'm aware of the fact that I'm not good with, let's say, public speaking. And I say, okay, I'm aware I'm not good with public speaking, or okay, that's not my thing. Don't take your dominant thoughts and make you feel like that is the entirety of who you can ever become or you can aspire to do. No, take your thoughts and go on a journey with it. And that is where the reflective thinking comes. Like you are thinking about your thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going on a journey with it. Questions, starting questions, atoms are jamming atoms, and sparks are happening in your brain, in your mind, and with that, you're coming up with different alternatives of what this answer may be. In that process, you might end up finding something remarkable by yourself.
Yeah. Very true.
So now, let me break out all the things you talked about. So the first thing you said was about your experiences, your past, and I think that what you're trying to say there is know your story. At the points where you are in your life, know your story. I did something in 2017. Is it 2017, 2018? I do it almost every 2 years. I sat down and I started writing what I call major milestones or failures and successes in my life. I call it an impact milestone. I came up with it in 2017. So I started writing everything that I knew about myself from 2011 when I knew that I became woke. Just put it that way. So I started writing, 2011, I was addicted to something. 2011, I started finding solutions. 2011, I started a Facebook group. No, I started writing all those major milestones until I finished 2011. I went to 2012. My blog, my blog started growing. I started writing international audiences, and I started doing those story aspect of my life in succession. It took me a time, but what I was trying to do was be able to capture the details of my life and the story of my life in a very vivid way, such a way that I can look into my story and look for patterns and look for what has been consistent, what have been the consistent things that made me succeed, what have made me stand out in the midst of challenges, what has been very instrumental to my growth, what has been instrumental to my downfall. Like being able to draw that milestone, knowing my story, not for the sake of personal branding, but for the sake of to capture who I am. Because many times we forget things. Our mind is not as sharp as we think. And so it's very important to be able to capture as much as you can capture at any point in time in your life. It is very essential for you to know your story of where you're coming from, because it gives you perspective and enough tools to make informed decisions about where you are now.
True.
And gives you enough tools to be able to map your life where you're going. But I think many people just live their life on autopilot. That is risky, man. If you just live your life as a company without being able to reflect and ask yourself, who am I up to now? Once upon a time, I've tried to be a rapper. I've tried to be a dancer. I've tried to write. I said I would be a footballer. I'll be jogging ball every day. As in, I was able to think about all the dumb moments I've tried to become in this life.
Oh, good.
But it might be so simple, but I'm telling you, ask some people these questions, they'll just tell you, I've always been like this. Or they'll just give you one kind of funny answer. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me, in all the 20-something years of your life, you cannot come up with one page of who you think you've become or who you think you've grown to be. For me, that's the most important thing. Do you know your story? What's your story? Zoe, what's your story? Yeah, I don't know. It's eating me right now to think about the fact that the most important aspect of our lives, we are ignorant. We are so up to date with Kim Kardashian and all the celebrity stories. You can give me the back-to-back episode of, let's say, Grey's Anatomy or of Game of Thrones. You even know the backstory of what the characters of Game of Thrones.
I'm telling you.
But when they ask you,
what's
your story? You just give us 2 lines. You tell us as it.
This life.
What of this? What do you have to say to that? I don't know.
I just think we don't pay enough attention, to ourselves the way we pay attention to other stuff. There's something Yoruba people usually say about someone that doesn't have enough, that doesn't take enough time to think about stuff. They will say that ni arojile. Arojile, think to the ground,
to the inside the ground.
Yes, to the hottest part. A lot of us don't have it. We don't even think about our lives, that this thing that happened to me in this year, why did it happen like that? So I wonder, when we are saying we are making goals and making resolutions and all those things for New Year's or something, what are we really doing? how we doing what we claim to be doing. Because if you're going to be if you're going to be looking back at a whole year and say, I want to reflect on my year, I want to reflect on my 2020 so far, so that after this COVID thing is done, I'm starting a new page. So let's take January to April, for example. So I'm taking January to April. What have I done? What have I been able to achieve? What are my major milestones? What are the failures, disappointments, things I didn't get to do? But no, we just haphazardly say 2019 was an okay year. I have hope that next year is going to be better. So I will write a book. I will do this. We just lofty dreams. We just cook up all these things and not really think deeply into the experiences that we've had. But we enjoy, and it's an irony because human beings are nature of stories. We enjoy stories. That's why we are hooked up on social media. We are hooked up on the next series that is showing on Netflix because we enjoy it. But we cannot do we can criticize movies, right? But we don't even look at our lives enough to critique our lives to say, the plot of this your life, how it's going, sure, it makes sense at the end. We don't do that, but we can sit down with a old movie and say, oh, this movie was just total hype. The production was not even that good. The cinematography was terrible.
As in, they'll start breaking down the entire thing. Do you get it?
The acting was bad. The dialogues, don't let me get started on the dialogues. We can do all of those things, but we don't look at our lives like that.
What about the cinematography of your own life?
How is it looking plain? Is it looking like
are you on 4K or you are like 720p or you are maybe you are on 2D? Like where are you? This
or pixelated.
Are you watching your film for your whole life? Is it on Netflix or is it on TV series? Where are you?
we don't look at things critically. Yeah, I think once and looking at things critically, it's not supposed to be that deep at first. It's later. That's why we have things called epiphanies.
Yeah.
It don't know you that this is it. I finally got it. I finally caught it. But that I caught it moment, that eureka moment, is a compilation of times that you have sat down to make some decisions to say, this is what is happening. This is how it's going. This is how it's looking. Isaac Newton didn't develop. He didn't get the gravity number by just being in the bathroom. Even though that I always come. Me too. All the time that I've spent in my bathroom, I developed.
We'll have blown. All of us are crazy in the bathroom. We are best singers. Forget. We'll have blown.
He's been working. The answer has always been there all along, but he couldn't get a headway. But he's been reading, working, putting things together, experimenting, and then one day in the bathroom, just dawned on him like, yo, this is it, and then a lot of us, we don't even have those this is it moments because we didn't work for anything. They're just living like that. I mean, for example, even that I'm saying that yesterday, I watched Netflix for like 4 hours.
Where's up?
Like, but you have work to do. You have a life to live. But this is not good. I just born. So all the things that I'm thinking of.
You born for your own self.
I born for myself. All those things I could have been using 2 hours to think of to say I'm trying to get this headway. It could have been better today. I could have had a better insight to the things that were making me think and wrap my head yesterday. Yeah, so we just really need to give ourselves a little bit of attention, a little bit more attention that you're giving social media, from films, from all the things that are unnecessary to your life, and just add that little attention to the one you already give yourself, just a little bit. You just see the difference that, okay, and that's where living intentionally comes from. It's not an easy something. One of the things that changed my life this year happened in January. My book club family, we read Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I will keep saying it. I love Malcolm Gladwell. Actually, Malcolm Gladwell, in case you come across this podcast, I'm crushing on you. I've always been crushing on you.
I love you too, Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm. It's not laying out, like he's full of us. So just fans in there.
And I thought to myself that this is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Very simple. All the complex things that are complicated things that we think there is, he simplified who you are into habits. Then he simplified habits into a guy. It's not that deep. Habit is not that you wake up in the morning and every morning I exercise. It's a good habit. That's the end result. That's not the habit. The habit is in the systems that you put in place. Like, I'm going to wake up by 5, or my alarm is going to sound by 5. Then my friend is going to call me by 5:10 to check if I'm still in bed or if I'm up. So that means by 5:10, I got to be up. No matter what happens, I got to be up. But because you have self-esteem, you don't always want to be the one that the friend calls by 5:10. You're already up. So when your friend calls you, oh, I'm getting dressed, I'm ready to leave the house, I'm jogging for 20 minutes, and I'm going to stick to it. He simplified how habits are not things that we do. They are little steps that we take, little things that we do unconsciously, because we know that there's a benefit ahead of time.
Wait, so how do we even get to this place? We're talking about know your story.
Yes, this is part of my story. We're talking about how people pay enough attention to themselves.
Yeah. So we can tie it down to the fact that, okay, for Zoe now, the context is that she was able to pay attention to herself, and now it's informing how she's approaching her goals in a different way, like in terms of how she's writing and all those things. Just think about it, like after this episode, think about it, how much attention do I pay to me? Not in a narcissistic way, but in a reflective way. But now, how do you know yourself? She's talked about a number of things. Like, she writes every day in terms of her work. I don't know. I feel this is my own opinion. When I read stories of people that have been doing exceedingly well in their lives, or who have success stories that we admire, there's always something about them keeping journals or writing. Because in the end, how do people write autobiography? They did not cram everything now. They have been writing things down at different points, and they must have a reflective book. They must have somewhere where they log their daily lives, log special experiences, log their epiphanies. Personally, I would say, if you don't keep journals, keep one now. And you don't have to be a writer. You can keep audio journals. There are other ways of keeping journals, like you can write, you can record audios. Sometimes I record random videos and I'll upload on my iCloud. I just basically make sure that important aspects of my days are well captured. And I think it's a habit that you should develop if you want to become, like Zoe said, that epiphanies didn't just come on one day. They're accumulations of different thoughts and different sparks in your mind that finally come together one day to become a whole. And you now have that eureka moment. But you have those smaller protons in code. You have those smaller atoms and protons and neutrons that you're recording in your journals that will add up to become something in the future. So, journaling is amazing. When I go to my journals, see what I've written in the palm, like, Abraham.
You're fired off in a different...
I'll say you're a pot of beans. Second, I'm like, I love you. Like, I'm telling you, it's that mixed feelings that you might have had a lot of messed up part of your life, but I'm proud of you. Someone told me she was proud of me on Facebook yesterday. I'm like, likewise, I'm proud of myself. Like, before I would say thank you, but now when someone says they're proud of me, I used to own it and say, I'm also proud of myself likewise. So that I can reinforce that idea in my mind that, okay, I'm aware of this. Not that you're telling me. You're telling me it's just an acknowledgement. It doesn't mean there's a revelation. Like, I know this. Journaling and logging is very powerful. For someone like Zoe, I know definitely she journal. If you write, that means that she journals a lot. Second thing that I think is very key to knowing your story is meditation. For me, I use Christian meditation. From 3 years of my life now, I've constantly spent every night at least 20 minutes being quiet. Nothing else. Sometimes it goes longer, but minimum 20 minutes every night. And I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just allowing all my... It might sound like Buddhism also, but I'm coming one with myself. I'm coming one with my spirit. I'm coming one with the spirit. I'm just becoming one with myself. In that alignment of my thoughts, my actions, my everything coming to a place of harmony, it's like my entire life begins to play out random screens. I'm not choosing the screen. I'm allowing my mind just play out random screens. And just throwing random pictures in my mind. And it's an amazing experience. Sometimes guided meditation, sometimes I just go autonomous, I just go with the flow. But there's something meditation does to you. One, it makes you much more at peace. You become a more gentle soul and a more gentle place. You will not be restless, not be scattered. Because you always find time to declutter your mind and put things in the right boxes. You just find out that your life is much more serene. You're working, your presence is exhuming some level of serenity and calmness. You might be a scattered talker like me. I'm a scattered speaker. But my personality in any place I find myself as my being, that present being is serene. Yeah, I know that for sure. And it didn't just get there. It's been like years of learning to just meditate, just zone out, because we're going to get there about how there's so many noise in the world, and we need to find a way to quiet our own space. Quiet our own space. My room is a living worship room, like 24/7 worship music.
Yes.
I have journals and strategic places in my room, on my table, my
It's called environmental design.
Okay. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. Create your space.
I know that I have notes in different places that reminds of who I am. I have things well intentionally placed to create an environment, to create a particular environment around myself, to shield myself from the world, not the world in the sense that I create a parameter to choose what comes into my space. So it's very essential that through meditation and environmental design, like Zoe said, that's something I'm going to pick up. That's very nice. Environmental design, you essentially create a space where you become one with who you are. You become more conscious, not more conscious, more aware of many things in your life. I randomly, I'll just remember some programming from me. I remember some childhood experiences that informed the way I think. I remember one thing I've done messed up somewhere. Not just even on the bus. I remember great things I've done and I never remember I've done them. People that have impacted their lives that probably that's gone with the sea. And I just remember I'm like, I'm proud of myself. I'll record it down. But essentially, if you don't meditate, I encourage you to. I recommend Christian meditation. But if you want to like try out that means online, by all means, you have the choice to choose other form of meditation that you think might work for you. But that is my 2 cents about how to know your story, how to become.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Very good stuff.
Who is interviewing now?
The co-interviewing.
It just came from the bottom of my heart. It just came random.
Please keep spilling. Keep putting out.
So at one point, Zoe spoke about being able to ask people around you, like being able to have people around you, like a support system is very key.
Yeah.
And when you're asking questions, and I would like to speak more to that because I realize that sometimes there are many times, even though I can boast of how I discover many things about myself, I will always give credit to people around me who have been very instrumental to me, even not discovering, but acknowledging and owning it. There's something when someone tell you that, okay, this is what we are noticing about you, and you're like, thank you. And you get to a point where you acknowledge it and you own it, and you're like, that is so significantly true. I need to take advantage of that thing, or I need to be more conscious about that thing. So we want to speak more to our support systems, how people around you can be very instrumental to the questions you ask and how you evolve.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start off with my the last video I uploaded on LinkedIn in December. I think on the 30th of December. I was saying that one of the things that I want to be known for was to be a support system, to those around me, whether work-wise or just my friends, family, life. And it's not difficult to be a good support system. That it first comes from being a good person. Once you are able to be there for your friends and the people that are around you one way or the other, it becomes easy, for them to reciprocate. But that's not the reason we do it anyway. We do it because there is thing to do. So I was saying that support is not overrated. Support is one of the most underrated things in life because we are so used to taking care of ourselves by ourselves for ourselves alone. It's just me gonna say, I've not yet figured out my life. Why should I now come and carry another person's matter on my head? That's the average person thinking. You want to protect yourself, you care only about yourself, you want to do all of those things. But we all know that you cannot do all those things by yourself. You still need help. That's why you go to Google and check stuff. Even the greatest loner in this world that seems like they don't need people. They still need people because the articles you go online to go and read, these people that wrote it. The YouTube video that you go and learn how to do something, these people that put it there. So I'll talk about it from those two perspectives, being a support system and having great support systems around you. So people usually say that we don't choose our friends. It just happens. Like you are friends with who you are friends with today because probably you attend the same school, you are doing the same course, or you stay in the same apartment, or you even share a room. But it doesn't always have to be like that. Once you enter into a space, and you check your environment, and you're like, okay, so this is who I am, this is where I'm going. Self-awareness again, it helps you decide the people you allow into your space. Because if you're not aware, you just take every dictum and hurry, and before you know it, your life has become a dumping site. Everybody thinks they have a say, they have an opinion, the way you run your affairs, and then some can talk you down and do whatever and just inhibit your progress without thinking that that's what they are doing, but just because they are not the right fit for you. So it's not about good people or bad people, it's about finding the right fit. They don't even have to be going the same place, but you just have to share the same values. Abraham and I, we are different worlds apart, but we are connected by fiber of values, core values, things that maybe how we want to change the world. You know, you might talk about some things and I'm just like, oh, Abraham, please can you let me be, you know, but
Great.
I understand the passion.
So you felt that before we were talking, Abby?
I'm going to use the fifth.
All right, let's move. It never happened.
So you have to look at the people that are around you, you know, and say, how is this person a right fit for my life? People can be your colleagues, they can be your acquaintances, they don't have to be your people relate into your circle or square or pyramid or whatever it is your own shape.
Triangle.
Or triangle.
Even though you don't have shapes.
Even if you don't have shape. You know, you can like someone like me now, you think I have so many friends, but I don't.
That's what people don't know. I probably I would have thought about that, because most people like you most times are people that have fewer people in your circle.
You know, because everybody just thinks that they know me because I'm all out there, but you don't. You don't have a vision of my life. I do not share it with you. You are looking at me from how I've related with you and how I am on the outside.
I think you know me.
You think you know me, but there are some people within my inner circle that even when I am quiet, they are not probing me that, Adebola, are you depressed? Are you going through some issues? They understand it, or whatever. They're not probing my life. So support systems, what I'm going to say now, you probably wouldn't believe it, but one of the best places I learned support system, being one, getting one, was from Instagram.
Oh. It's me. Oh yeah, it's me.
So I didn't like Instagram before. I just thought it was a vain platform. People just come and show their fine clothes and their fine makeup and all those things. I mean, I don't need, that's not my space. I'd rather not be there. You know? But I decided, you know what, let me see this Instagram. Let me even see how it works. So I started getting active on Instagram, started following some people. Then I followed Salem. Somebody shared a video of Salem with me. And
that guy's content is amazing.
And I was like, what else do you know? This is good stuff. And then I started from afar. I saw that he has his space. He has his own private people, like his circle, and all of them use Instagram as loudly as they used to. And you need to see the way they support each other. They share each other's content. They are there for each other. They talk about each other when they have a webinar or a podcast or something. They use each other as examples. When somebody's having an event, is hosting a show or an event, all of them are there to support, to do one thing. They pay for each other's passes, slots. The network of support was just so. I was like, hey, even Instagram people that I thought that they were vain, you know, they have a strong support system like this, you know. And then the first time I spoke to him, I realized that that's how he is. You know, it was just like his friends. He doesn't have so many friends, but the ones that he has allowed into this space and the ones that he's friends with, they are really important for him. And all he has to do is support them. That they're not asking for too much. Just believe in people's dreams and just be there for them. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's how simple it is. Then I started to imbibe this into my life. And then from Instagram, I have a lot of friends from Instagram now. Salem is one of them. I wouldn't think that I'll be friends with all these Instagram people, but they've made me see that this is not always like this for everybody on this platform. You know, they taught me what support really is. They talk about their relationships, their friendships. This is what is happening. This is how things go. You and your friends don't always have to be in the same page, but you know, there's got to be trust and loyalty and this. So being a support system, before people can say they want to be there for you, I don't like to say it, but inherently Most human beings are selfish. It's just the way that we are. People want to say, what am I getting out of this? If you have never been there for me before, it's a little bit difficult for me to be there for you. I will probably just because I'm a Christian, I understand that I'm compelled by love. Is my love work? I don't need something in return. This is who I am. That's probably why I'll put my head out and say, you know what, let me reach out to this person over and over again. But every time you're always calling me to take. You've never for once extended your hands to say, oh, you to take. After a while, that relationship just becomes toxic. Because every time I see your phone, every time I see your chat, I know that I want to ask for help. And I want to ask, not like you care. So the love that you have experienced when you're trying to figure out who you are, and the love you have given yourself, you have to be able to give it to other people. You have to make yourself safe space for other people. Especially in this world, we young millennials, we're very protective of our dreams. No matter how it seems like we are always playing up and down. I know a lot of great people, a lot of great young people, and we carry our dreams on top of our hearts, and we are guarding it with everything that we do. So before we can allow anybody into that space, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. You have to show that even you have something to, offer. You have something good. You are somebody that they can trust. You are somebody that they can, say, come into my safe space. So space that they've been protecting all along, they will just open it. You think they will just open it to a random person? So you have to, you yourself, for you to receive great support system, you have to be to other people. You really have to be. And most times it's you that have to start first. You might not always have great support systems around you. Great support systems will come from people noticing that you are just.
You just said something really great. Many young people tell me they don't have friends. I'm like, whoever wants to have friends needs to be friendly.
Yes.
If you want people to share your content, start sharing their own.
Yes.
You get it. It's as simple as that.
It's just very simple. It's the golden rule of doing unto others what you want them to do to you.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how people grow on Instagram. Say, if I'm using Instagram all the time, you share people's content, you send somebody a DM. I read your something amazing. Before you know, the person will follow you in the next 5 minutes. And just people gravitate towards help. They gravitate towards positivity. They gravitate towards good thing. So how we just act like people are not there, people are not important, or you don't give a hoot about people, and you expect them to be falling at your beck and call. So for you to have great support systems, for you to have people that will stand by you in your highs, in your lows, your real people, your person, your G's, you have to go all out for other people. And most times the people you go all out for are people that you might not even be friends with at the beginning. Those people that really need help, and you just look at them and say, I really want to help this person. Is in helping. Adora said something recently that you are questioning what is the purpose, what is your destiny. All of those things sweet too, but first save is in serving others, is in serving people, providing value, that you begin to discover things about you. And it's the same thing for having great support systems. Support other people, love other people, care about other people, and before you know it, your own circle too is wide. You're not even doing anything, but it's going to happen. Anyway.
Wow, this is one of the longest run time I've had. But I want to see if we could wrap up on some things. But first, I really endorse Salem King's content. It's really extremely good. We follow each other on Instagram. So if from your fellow content creator Salem, we're endorsing you, and we're going to put your link in the show notes so people can check you out and get a dose of your kinging.
Yes.
And Adora Lumina is really amazing. One of the most inspiring content creators I've met. She keeps pushing me. When I met her 2 years ago or something. Is it 2 years? When I met Mentor, I started following her 2 years ago, and it's been mind blowing. She always have that's someone who spends time with herself to reflect. So it's always giving a different perspective to things that we struggle with or things that people struggle with, and have a way of remarkably simplifying them. That you're wisdom. So wisdom is not common, but it's simple. Wisdom is simple, but it's not common.
That's common. That's very deep. It's not common, but it's very simple.
Word. Okay. So I think we've given a bit of steps or things people could do about how to develop their reflective thinking, how to become more aware of who they are and now who they're becoming. that takes us to being present, like enjoy the moment. I used to be one of my friends, Moyo, from undergrad, we were talking in January, and she was like, Abraham, you've changed. And I'm like, I know, I used to be very uptight at me. I'm like, I not changed. I just became more of who I am. Like right now, I'm much more present in my moments. I'm much more present in my life in the sense that that's why people are seeing a lot more playful Abraham, much more outgoing Abraham, much more people. Even when I posted my dance picture on video, even though it's like weird dance, but people are like, Abraham, you're changing. But I'm like, this is what I've always been inside me. But I've never been. Maybe I was at a point in my life where I didn't allow myself to be present in a moment where I could be able to unleash the childishness I have in me, because that's the childishness that influences my creative work and everything that I do. So it's just that I've limited how much I allow this thing come out of me. And so being able to be present in every moment and say, okay, I'm with my friend right now, drop your phone, have fun with them. Like, just have fun. Or if I'm going to be walking, take your phone away, walk, be present. Like, being present has a view of making you find out new things about yourself, and being able to also, it's always so important in being able to like grow friendship and relationship, because if you're in a place where people know that you are positively exuding life, people will just naturally gravitate towards you. But if you are, even though you are wise, you drop all the wisdom in the world, you will notice that people will come for you for the wisdom and they will go away. They won't stay. Not because they don't want to stay, because the only thing they could get from you right there is the amount of maybe positivity or the kind of inspiration you give to them. But the environment, your environment for them, if they stay too long in your environment, it might just make them become toxic. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's kind of weird to explain, but you can be really extremely good, but in the end, you're just noticing that people just come and go. People don't come and stay because it's like you're a market. You're a market people come to, but you're not like a place where people stay. They just come to buy and they go. Like they have this transactional relationship with you. But you want to move from having transactional relationships to having a relationship where people are there for you. They are there for you 24/7, and people want to be around you, as it were. That's by the way anyway, but the point there is, let's be present and in our lives, in any experience, because that's how you pick out lessons and be able to move. Two more things I think we would like to tell you is it's always good to also tell people what self-awareness is not. So self-awareness, one, is not about looking for the wrong things in your life. It's not about primarily nitpicking and labeling all the wrong things you've done. It's not about looking for all the mistakes you've made. No, it's about the both. It's about looking inward to find out both the strength, the positive and the negative, as it were, the yin and the yang. There's both sides of the story, so that you can make informed decisions based on how aware you are about your experiences, your thoughts, your actions, and how you've grown over the years. So if someone is saying self-aware and the only thing they're telling you is about the bad things they've done, they're just being self-conscious. They're just being and self-conscious will make you enter a room and you feel like everybody's looking at you. Meanwhile, nobody cares about before you enter the room.
Yep.
That's self-consciousness, that's not self-awareness. And self-consciousness will make you have things like social anxiety, the self-consciousness that make you have this excessive fear of public speaking or excessive interaction with people because you are so self-conscious. You are scared that people will judge you. That's not the same thing as self-awareness. In fact, self-awareness breeds and helps you generate more positivity about yourself, much confidence about yourself, and makes you be a little bit feel like you're more in control of your life, right? You're more responsible for who you are, and you're not basically reacting to how life, slaps you left and right. So please don't think that we are saying self-awareness means that you become super narcissistic about all your steps and all your moves. That if you want to take one step, you first calculate Pythagoras theorem to know if the step will be 90 degrees accurate, that kind of a thing. No, we are saying it's about the wholeness of your being and being able to use that information to be much more responsible about life, be much more proactive about you take steps, how you grow, how you make informed decisions. So don't become a problem labeler. Don't become what people are very good at labeling their problems. Sometimes I have sessions with some people and maybe like one-on-one. So this is something I do off the books because I have a bit of training in coaching. People start telling me, I know what's wrong with me. To start naming all the problems, naming all the problems, and labeling all the things we've done. I'm like, okay, so now what? You've told me everything, now what? Like, they think that self-awareness means that they can list all the 101 things they did wrong. But that is not self-awareness. That is just labeling. Do you know why you did those things? Sometimes it's not even your fault. It might be childhood abuse, childhood problems, or how your parents have raised you, or your guardians, or your foster parents. It might have been something else that someone have subtly programmed in you that you're not even aware of, and you just take all the blame and just become excessively angry with yourself. So labeling the problem is not self-awareness. It's just one step. In fact, it's far from it. You need to dig deeper and know what is the nature of this problem. What is the nomenclature? Where was this manufactured? Where's the origin? How did I get it? What are the patterns? What are the patterns that make me exhibit this action? What are the antecedents? What are the triggers? You need to know all these things. That is now where you enter self-awareness, when you know all the elements that make up all these things that we've talking about. I'll allow Zoe to talk a bit about why, in the grand scheme of things, why it is essential for you to develop reflective thinking and self-awareness, especially in a very noisy world. And I think we'll wrap up on that. The table is yours. The Zoom is yours.
Okay. So wrap things up. That's like the best way we can go, because we've said a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then back to what we started with, that reflective thinking is it's one of the best things you can be doing in your life. Like one of the best, apart from breathing, reflective thinking is like very important to your thriving. And I like what Abraham said when he said self-awareness isn't looking at yourself and saying, oh, I can name 1 million things that I did wrong or that I do wrong. There's always, behind every action, there's always like what they call that thing. There's always like an intent, like a motive.
Yeah.
And most times that's what you need to find out. So as we go on in this, it's very noisy and it's going to get noisier. And I hate it, but that's how it is, because it wasn't this noisy some years back. More things are going to be developed, more things are going to be innovated, everything begging for your attention. Literally screaming your name on top of their lungs, come here, get me, come here, see me.
Pick me. I want to be a man, Jews. Pick me.
You think you have seen the best of them. I mean, during this lockdown, I can't count how many TikTok videos that I have seen. And I'm not even on TikTok.
I left
I'm
TikTok.
not on TikTok. I'm not even there. Thriller, I'm not even there. But I have seen everybody's posting everywhere. So many things. And they'll keep increasing. But self-reflecting is how you're going to anchor your foot down. As they keep dragging for your attention and you keep swimming in them and you keep forgetting yourself, you start to lose who you are, you start to lose who you want to be. I know your attention is focused on what is happening out there, and you're just living your life on autopilot. Reflecting is what is going to help you to come out of it, and it's going to help you avoid it in the first place. We have to be able to take those breaks. I don't know how your life is. I don't know, maybe you're a very busy person or you aren't. It depends on how much time you have, but try as much as possible to always make time out, especially when you feel overwhelmed. One of the things I've learned how to do is to tap out. I can tap out 5 times. I'm not. I just say, you know what, I'm done. And then I just go somewhere. Not even that go somewhere can just be my house, so restroom, and I'm just there for like 30 minutes or an hour. I'm thinking, and all these things really help you, because eventually when you come out of reflective thinking, you're not thinking of yourself as your mistake. You're not thinking of yourself as your success. Even your identity of who you are doesn't change. So you see the situation, whether good or bad. I'm in a situation, this is good or this is who I am. I am still this person. I am still this voice that wants to help people. It's not going to change. It's in a bad place right now. So how do I get out of this bad place to get back into motion with my life goal, with my life vision? And all of those things come in a place of taking time out to reflect. In a very, very loud world, you have to do that for yourself. You owe it to yourself to do it. It helps your mental health. It helps you take away stress and anxiety. Everybody might be jumping up and down, but they will just see calmness. That why are you not even bothered? And it's not like you're not bothered, but it's just you just have things figured out in a certain way. You know the things that you can change, and you know the things that Reverend always says something that give me the wisdom to know the things I can change and the something I can't remember right now, but that's what is coming to my head. Wisdom to know the things I can change and the humility to accept the things I cannot. Something
I
like that.
cannot change. Yeah, and I remember that quote is very powerful. Yeah.
Something around that line. So you need it because people are going to come out. It's not just social media, even people. Everybody's opinionated this very strongly opinionated. They're going to tell you how to live your life. They're going to tell you what they think about you, how they think you should behave, how they think you should act.
People are masters at how people are masters on helping people to live their own life.
I'm
Like
telling you,
expert coaches, everybody is life
everybody
coach.
life coach. They're going to come at you, but if you haven't spent enough time with yourself, because that's really what reflective thinking is about, is really spending enough time with yourself.
Time with yourself. Wow.
Time with yourself to think, to say, okay, so this is where I am. It doesn't always have to be bad. So don't think reflective thinking is always like a bad outcome. Something bad has happened.
Sometimes positive. Many times for me, it's positive. You know, like every day I'm carrying guns to do evil things. No, you're not like a bag of evil things.
Exactly.
You're not a bag of mistakes. No, you're many more things than that.
So when good things happen, take time out. Think about it. How did I get here? What are the things? So that you can even learn how to replicate it, the same process. Another thing reflecting is not about other people. Try as much as possible to not blame people for where you are. It's so easy to come out of reflecting and saying it wasn't my fault. I mean, it was Abraham that screwed me over. It's so easy to just come to that conclusion. But even if you can practically see that people hurt you, and that's what they say to people that have gone through this is one of the things they tell people that have been maybe sexually abused before. They tell them that stop. The more you blame the guy or the woman that assaulted you, the more you hold on to not forgiving him and to not moving on from that phase of your life.
Yeah.
It's not about him. And at the same time, it's not about you. He did what he did, or she did what she did, and they move on. But you are still who you are right now. You are who you are. It hasn't affected. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to, So it's so easy to blame people when we're at a bad place, or blame information, or blame something. But self-reflection is about yourself. So you need to really, really see yourself. You need to be genuine enough to say, okay, I'm at a low point in my life. I don't know how I got here, but I'm trying to figure it out. And that's what I want to do. So, and then reflective thinking is not usually like a long process.
You can break it down. You don't have to go in one stretch. Trust me, you can break it down to smaller units.
Spend some time today. Spend some time tomorrow. Write things down, like Abraham said. You have to journal things down, because you have no idea the things you're picking up, the things you're doing. And those journals sometimes are proof that your life is not as ordinary as you think it is. Your life is a package of stories, of experiences, of things that when they write a film about your life, you almost wouldn't believe it, that it's you that lived that life. But if you're not paying enough attention to yourself, you're not giving your flex, you're not putting in the work to write things that you're discovering about yourself. I hope that with these few points of mine, I'll be able to communicate.
Few kidney. Everyone, I told Zoe to wrap up. she has got another 20 minutes. 2 points of mine.
I will not confuse you. That reflective thinking is I need to finish the question. That reflective thinking is the way to the future.
Bam. It's been a very fun time with you. Thank you so much. Do you have anything you want people to know about you? Like, where they can follow you, or I can put the link in the show notes if you have something I could share with people.
Okay, so yes, there is something I can share with people. So guys, I'm a writer, right? And then so I started this series where I just write about curious stuff. These are the things that are very obvious to us, but we don't know it because we don't care enough to go and find out about it. So I have like 14 episodes already. They are 2 minutes reads, very short, very playful reads, nothing deep, and then it's just, it's something you can do for fun. I'm writing for fun. Not every time write for work and write to change people's lives. Sometimes just write for fun, and that's what I'm doing with this. I call it one thing you don't have to know. Yeah, so I would like, it's on Medium, so you can share the link.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the show note, and you can check out the one thing you don't need to know. It's not everything you have to know, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to how this goes. Yeah, thank you so much, Zoe.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody. Sorry that I really, really took time.
She's a typical writer. That's what they used to do.
Hi. Welcome back. I hope that was fun and insightful. One of the best moments for me since I launched this podcast is the editing. When I get to go through all the recordings, I really get to absorb the wisdom from those conversations. Yeah. So what are key takeaways from this session? 1, people do not like to know the messy part of their life most times. But in reflections, you can see where you're coming from, where you are now, and you can see who you can be or who you're becoming. And regarding self-awareness, we learned that seeing other people's uniqueness can give us a wake-up call. And this is, however, from a place of healthy love, not you romanticizing other people's life over yours, but taking a cue from how people are unique to also find your own uniqueness. Know your story, dedicate yourself to logs, journals, and meditation. Have time where you just spend with yourself to unlock those things that God has embedded and deposited in you. Invest in support systems. Build genuine relationships by being present. When you are overwhelmed, learn when and how to tap out. Take breaks in a loud world. It is good for your mental health. Don't be passive about your life. If you don't lead your life, other people will decide what to do. Also, self-awareness is not the same thing as self-consciousness. Self-awareness leads to positivity and growth, while self-consciousness definitely leads to anxiety, self-sabotage, and some form of narcissistic behaviors. Ultimately, the most important thing for me, and I would like you to think about, is that love of the Father, that's God the Father, towards us all humans in Jesus Christ. And for me, life makes a whole lot of sense with Jesus in it. So think about that. For all the persons mentioned, Zoe's social media handles, the 2 persons that we recommended, Adora and Salem, Zoe's series on Medium called One Thing You Don't Have to Know. Please check the show notes for the links. Thank you for listening to this episode of Respectrum. If you find it really helpful and useful, please share the podcast or tell a friend about it. And if you'd like to learn more about me, please follow me on Twistergram at IamHoAbraham. And don't forget that together we are unstoppable. Yeah, we are. See you next time.